This is Savvy Wisdom,
the Heart to Heart podcast you didn't know you needed.
hosted by Dr. Tamika Sanders and Cheyennis. Savvy Wisdom is a monthly interactive podcast for women who value their well-being and growth that highlights the unique challenges women face daily.
We talk about the relevant issues, their impact to our well-being, share expert insights, best practices, and provide resources and support for your journey right along with you. Dr. Tamika Sanders has 20 years of experience working with schools and businesses in the areas of training and development, public programming, and leadership development. Her work revolves around bringing a diversity of real-world perspectives into programming initiatives and creating strategic community partnerships that can generate revenue and provide access to resources and opportunities for marginalized groups.
Cheyennis is a multi-talented Cali creative with 20 plus years of extensive banking experience, with a proven track record for driving transformative change and fostering a culture of excellence through process improvement, DEI, strategy planning, and program management. She is also an entrepreneur and focused on intentional well-being, with multiple offerings that allow her clients to connect, learn, inspire, and grow. In today's episode, we will be talking about integrating the main facets of your life: relationships, work, fitness, health, and emotional happiness in a way that feels harmonious and integrated. Balanced living is about setting boundaries around each facet to make sure that the integration is fully understood by you and those around you. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our fourth episode. We're going to be talking about balanced living and that integrative life today. But first, we just want to give some gratitudes to you all. Thank you so much for those of you that have been tuning in. Please continue to like, subscribe, and share, because that's how we keep making this more possible and getting this out to more and more viewers. So we appreciate you, those that are already doing it. If you're not, remember, like, subscribe, share.
And comment too. Let us know, like, what are the moments that stand out to you? Like, what messages, have you received, and what have you changed, in connection with what we've been discussing? And so, with that said, last month it was all about that self-care. And I know we had our 30-day challenge, which it was really fun. I got to almost all of those challenges, with the exception, of course, of decluttering my camera roll. That is just something, like, I just continue to pile on and continue to add. I know this is going to be something that is not going to go away, and I'm going to eventually have to confront this, but I'll get to that. Didn't go to the movies, but have watched feel-good movies.
Yes.
Did not have a good movie cry, though.
Neither did I. Yes, I did do the walks. I made sure I got me a bubble bath with some glass of wine. I definitely did that.
Ooh,
I did watch the movies. I didn't watch a movie with a good cry. I think I have to be in a certain mood to just sit down and cry. When I'm feeling good, it feels really wrong to put on a sad movie and just cry. So didn't get there. But got to catch up with friends and just really busy weekend networking, I think, for both of us. So it was good
networking galore.
Take the downtime.
I feel like, that was part of the self-care, like the before, the during, and the after. Like, my soul just feels so fed from all the beautiful energy of these women empowerment events that we've been participating in. So yes. And I feel like that's a really great segue into, so now that we've come to understand what self-care is and incorporating into our lives, let's look at the bigger picture. And that really is on living a balanced life. And so, for the sake of today's episode, we're going to level set with what we define as balanced and integrated living. So, having an integrated life means bringing the segregated areas of life, relationships, work, fitness, health, and emotional happiness together into one harmonized whole. And I love that.
But harmony is important, right?
Absolutely, because life gets so busy. There are just so many competing priorities, so many opportunities, so many obligations,
Mhm.
so many challenges. And it's like trying to find harmony through all of that, all of the chaos can be such a challenge. So that's why I'm glad we're going to talk about this today.
Yeah. And also, when you think about balanced, we talk a lot about percentages, right? Like, oh, balance means it's 50-50. And there's no way.
Yeah.
Balance doesn't mean that everything has an equal portion, because there are some times in your life where some things are going to have to take priority and some are going to get less
Mhm.
percentage of your time. But that doesn't mean you're not balanced. You're putting your energy where it needs to be at that moment, but you still want it to be in harmony. So the harmony is more important than the percentage everything is getting. And then again, as long as you give some of that percentage back to yourself for that self care, it's important, because without you,
Yes.
none of those things can happen. So, yes, let's get into these check in questions then,
Absolutely.
because they're really good.
Yes. Exactly. So, do you feel that you have a healthy work-life balance? Um, that's a good one. Do you want to answer that question or?
You know, it depends, right? If I've got projects and deadlines and clients and things I'm working on, it's probably not going to be the best work life
Yeah.
balance at that time, because I'm probably going to be giving more percentage of my time to work projects, less to time to family and friends. But when I'm in just normal projects, it's not a crunch deadline, then I do feel like I've got a good work life balance, especially being able to work from home.
Oh,
Sometimes
yes.
it's harder to turn it off, right? But I get
Mm.
better at making sure I'm eating, I'm going for a walk. When my kiddos get home from school, I'm taking that work hat off and I'm putting the mom hat on so that I can be present with them. But yes, it just depends. What about you, Shy?
So this has been one of those questions that has been challenging because of just the landscape of what life is right now and what constitutes work and what constitutes life. Having gone through a very significant change in life that disrupted what was my career, what was my work life, and trying to determine what that was going to look like. It's been quite the adventure, but I feel like we're knocking on April's door, and all of that is starting to come together now, right? And I'm much clearer in what my work is, even if it doesn't look the way that I expected it to look, or even though it doesn't look the way that it has looked for the past 20 plus years. So I would say I am starting to find the balance of these areas of my life, and I'm excited about being able to integrate it. So out of and this is I love this question because I know we talked about it in the Superwoman Syndrome episode, right? Out of 100%, what percentage do you give to others, and what percentage is reserved for you? And you talked about what it was with you and your husband. So how has that been going since you changed it? I think, did you change it to 60/40 or was it 70/30?
Oh, I wish I could do 60-40, but it's still about that 70-30. And the reason why I can't quite get it to 60-40 is because I keep getting great opportunities and I am really bad at saying no to to a good
Oh,
opportunity. So then I'm like,
yeah.
yeah. So then that encroaches on my time, And so that 70-30 is probably going to be the biggest balance I can get. 30% for me, 70 for, everything else. What about you?
Oh, great question. I don't even know if I can answer that question because everything that I do is also about uplifting and empowering others. So I kind of struggle with like, is this for me or is this for them? Right. Because it's just, I feel like
It's combined.
that's just what I'm being led with, and that's what I'm being guided and propelled towards within my different offerings. So I don't know how to answer that question right now. And I'm going to have to think about that.
Can you have a balanced life because of work life balance, or can because of a balanced work life? Or does the balanced work life help you have success? Like, do you feel like there's an either or are they pretty much together for you?
Oh my goodness. I feel like you can have success because of work-life balance. I feel like it is definitely more the success comes from that because I feel like part of success is being able to properly navigate the different aspects of your life. Success is being able to properly integrate that balance. If success means it looks like there's no time for you, I don't know if that's a proper definition of success. If success means you're
Mm.
constantly burnt out, if success means that you're operating in superwoman mode all of the time, I don't think that that's success.
Yeah. And if it is success, it's not going to be sustainable success because one day
Yes.
you're going to be drained and it's going to all stop. And once it does, there you go. It falls apart. So I
Yeah.
completely agree. And then the other one I like is just what's stopping you. If you don't have work-life balance, and these are questions
Yeah.
we ask ourselves, we want to ask you as well.
Yeah.
You don't have work-life balance, what do you think is stopping you from achieving that? What
Yeah.
outside or internal things are just stopping you?
Yeah. So I've done a great deal of work on the internal, sort of the internal saboteurs, if you will, that may have been stopping me from the work life balance. So I'm pretty good there. And I know part of doing that work was reframing and reshaping my perspective on external factors that I felt were impeding on achieving that work life balance. Like, okay, how am I going to achieve work life balance if I don't actually have work? Right?
That
Um,
part.
how am I going to achieve, like, what is work life balance, when you think from a finances, perspective? I know that's not something we necessarily like to talk about, but financial insecurity is real. It is
Yeah.
very, very real, right?
Yeah.
And when you feel as if your hierarchical needs aren't being met, from that perspective, knowing that we live in a society that is a very, very lack mentality, even though there is so much abundance, but not abundance for everyone.
There you go.
It can really affect how the control that you may feel that you have, or the opportunities that you feel that you may have to achieve that work life balance. For
Yeah.
you, what does that look like?
You are right. When I am in financial crisis mode or financial saving mode, you're right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm going to be all work and no play because at the end of the day, the bills have to get paid. And if you
Yeah.
can't be talking about work-life balance, like you said, if you have no work coming in, you have nothing to pay the
Yes.
bills with. You have to forget about the other parts and go get your paper.
Yeah,
So
right.
it does become really real at those moments, and so it is a balance. That's why it's like an ebb and a flow. There's sometimes where it's all
Yeah.
work and no play, and the other times where I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I can actually do a little bit of both. I can do some travel and I can do my work. Or other times I'm like, this is all playtime. I have worked enough. I
Yeah.
need a break, a real break, and let's go. So it's an ebb and flow. But
Yeah.
I know one thing, that when it does come between, if you have family, if you are a caretaker, or you are starting a new business, you have other kinds of
Yeah.
really time consuming activities and things that you do that are competing priorities, that can really make it hard for you to have that balance,
Hmm.
or find that harmony, because all of those things equally need your time and attention. And so trying to
Yeah.
divvy it out really can get really, really, really hard, and just frustrating sometimes, right? So it's
But
again,
that's
that's why it's harmony, not percentage.
But that's also why I love that we started out with recognizing, number one, when we are operating in that superwoman mode, which I know is necessary at those critical times, like starting a business, like getting that paper back, right? And then we talked about the support systems because that can help alleviate so much.
Yeah.
I will say in the last like 2 to 3 weeks alone, from the connections that I've been making and just the amazing women that I have been coming across who have been demonstrating community, that has opened the door for me for so many opportunities that have lightened that load so that
Mhm.
I don't feel like I am just all on my own and have to again do it all myself and figure it all out. Yes, I'm still having to figure things out, and yes, I am still doing the work myself, but getting access, having the gates open, having the doors open is just like, oh, thank you. It's like
Yeah,
such a relief. And then recognizing like, hey, like I was not really fully practicing self-care. And because I wasn't fully practicing self-care, I was also blocking my blessings on allowing the space and the energy to come in to help lighten that load, right? And I know
mhm.
there's that so many of us are kind of trapped in that. I know so many women who are starting businesses and they feel just so much weight on their shoulders. They can't even get a moment to even breathe to actually ask those questions for a reflection. And so that's why I just encourage, watch the show, reach out to us. We've
Yes,
literally been in your shoes. We're in your shoes. We are living this, we are breathing this, and we're showing you that it gets better.
it does. It does. Oh, I love that. You're right. It's opening the doors and keep being who you are. Keep working for those
Yeah.
goals because the doors will open. And that brings
Yes.
us to just thinking about what are some ways and some tips that we actually start living
Yes.
that balanced, integrated life.
So be here and now. So wherever you are, be present. Practice gratitude for your given circumstances all day, every day. And woo, that was a test, right? That's been a test for the past, I would say, almost a year, right?
Mhm.
Um, but I can definitively say that when I am present, when I am in my element, when I am experiencing joy and gratitude to be in these spaces, to be in the presence and around the energy that I've been seeking, again, that just makes all of the difference, and it just begets more. So that's how you start to live your values. That's how you start to demonstrate what your passion is and what's important to you, and really bringing in who you are as a person and allowing people to see that so that they can give you the opportunities for you to showcase that, to breathe that, and to help others who are looking for that.
Yes, yes, yes. And that means being present when you're going to events. Don't just sit there. Make sure you're talking and networking with the people around you because you
Yeah.
never know that person sitting next to you might have the actual solution or you have a solution for them, which goes to our next one, which is about making business personal. This is something I am so passionate about because relationships, people can choose to take their business
Mm,
wherever they want, but the relationship is what keeps them coming back to you. So take time
yeah.
to get to know people one on one outside of business. Get to know their family, get to know the things they like, get to know the things that motivate them and drive them, the things that they're afraid of, and the challenges that they've been having. Because in the end, not just you don't just make a business partner you make a friend, and that's something that you
Yeah.
get to have for life. You know, a sister, a partner, a colleague, any of these things, so
Yes.
that whether the work relationship ends or even maybe if it's a romantic relationship, that friendship that you started with, it remains
Yeah.
because you did the work to make that relationship something that was more than just surface. So if you have those opportunities to network, we were talking about that, right? When networking, it's like, people
Yes.
ask about the weather and this, and it's like, it's being a networking an expert networker, and being able to get to from surface to real things in a very very short amount of time. It is a skill and you have to get good
It
at it so that
really
you're not just
is.
stuck in networking with these surface questions. You get down to it and you really get to the heart of the matter, and you feel like you know somebody once you walk away from them. So
You
yeah.
know what? I was at this Lead Her Lakewood event the other day, and what I really appreciated was, now it was you could tell this was a phenomenal team. They put so much care into these events that were celebrating women all month long. And at each table, there was this place card that had networking questions to ask to help break the ice. And I was like, you know what? I don't think I've seen that before at an event that I've been to. And I love that because I am definitely, and we've talked about this, I'm probably an introvert extrovert. And so I am that awkward wallflower sometimes that's like, I really do not want to talk about surface level things, but then for whatever reason, all of the knowledge seems to leave my brain. And I'm like, I don't actually know what to say to actually spark a real conversation. So I'm always thankful. And we're going to be meeting with her on Monday, this wonderful, brilliant woman at another women's empowerment event that we were at the week prior, who saw me just standing there like a deer in the headlights and came and introduced herself to me. And I'm just so excited about what this conversation is going to spark for us next week. Oh my gosh, yes.
Yes, me too. And yes, her lovely red hair, just amazing. We met so many
Yes.
amazing ladies at the event we went to last week, and I'm still unpacking it, and I'm still looking forward to networking with the women, the startups, the founders, and all the people that we got to see
All
there.
of that.
And our old colleagues, just great, great, great event.
Absolutely. And so then this leads into creating life margins. So honoring time for things that make us laugh, think, and play. Building in personal time, family time, and one-on-one time throughout the day. And you were touching upon that earlier on the when it comes to working from home, it is really hard to separate. I no longer really have a concept of the 9 to 5 work day. It was just,
It's
it's
all
from wake up to go to bed, and heavy emphasis on the girl, you need to go to bed.
that part. Yeah.
But we've gotten it together. We are not staying up into those wee hours of the night anymore because, again, we are not going to be able to be here and now and present if we are not giving time to ourselves. So, how does that look for you, being a mom of twins, a wife, and just all of the amazing things that you do throughout the community and with your offerings?
Uh, those life margins are really important. It's yeah, sometimes I don't even understand how I am getting sleep, because sometimes I feel like I go through my day and I'm thinking about my day or my week, and I'm already tired thinking about it before it gets there. I'm just like, oh, this is going to be a
Yeah,
long week, because I'm already calculating everything and the lack of sleep I'm going to get. But it's I keep a good schedule. I try to make sure that I try to get my things done, during the day while the kiddos are at school. And then after that, from
yeah,
like that 3 to 5 time, I really try to take that work hat off if I can, and just be present with them, because there's dance and soccer and Muay Thai and all these fun things,
yeah,
right? And then I have girlfriends that want to hang out, and we want to do brunch and
yeah,
dinners. And so it is really as it comes up, finding it. But that's usually the work in the family. I've gotten those really good. And then anytime after 5 o'clock, or after 6, then it's either me getting back on work, or it's maybe getting some time to socialize with friends, or taking a walk with my husband. It really depends. But girl, I couldn't, there's no skill. It kind of just, it's an ebb and flow, week to week, day to day. But those are my
and
margins I make time for.
and you know what? That made me think of, and the name of this angel investor and founder is escaping me at the moment, but she was speaking on how important it is for her children to see mommy doing the thing, right?
Yeah.
And so, as you were talking about creating these life margins, I think it is so important for us. It is so important for us. I know I was a child of a single mom. I don't know that it was ever spoke, that these concepts were ever spoken. So I think it is so important that your children get to see mommy setting boundaries for herself, and mommy, um, practicing that self-care so that they understand that that's, that's something that they should implement in their lives for that balance and their well-being. So that's really cool.
Yeah. Oh, that is so funny. Because quick story, my daughter Azure,
Yeah.
she's like a little workaholic, 9 years old. But this child will come to us and be like, I don't know how to relax. What can I do? And I'm like, I need you, you're 9. I need you to sit down, watch a show, go play with your toys, like something. It's like,
Man,
no, I gotta be doing something. And I'm like,
trust me,
or
you don't
she'll
want these problems.
that's what I try to tell her. I'm like, enjoy this time when you have it. I wish somebody could take care of me right now and feed me and clothe me, and all I had to do was wake up and sleep and go to school and eat. I was like, you have it good right now. I was like,
Yes,
just enjoy this time because it goes so fast.
it
Um,
really
and so,
does.
but you're right. She gets to see me and my husband working on our dreams, and it's funny. Sometimes I'll be on a call and she'll have her computer and she's working on Canva. She's like a little Canva genius, and
Oh
she'll
my
be creating
goodness.
something. I'll be doing a PowerPoint and she'll be creating her thing. And she's like, look, mom. And I'm just like, that's so adorable, But at the same time, I'm like, I
Ah,
really want you to be a child right now and
I
just
love
be there. But
that.
she's so excited about it. But
I love that.
this makes me think about your energy. The next one is like being mindful of your energy and your space.
Yes.
Be careful of who you invite into your space, but also who you allow
Yes.
to give you to kind of have a little bit of share your energy. I'll say that. Share your energy and take
Yeah.
your energy, because that goes back to superwoman syndrome. If we give and self-care, we give all the
Yeah.
time, we have nothing that's pouring back into us. Again, you're going to be used up 100%. So be mindful of that. The
Mm.
relationships, whether it's personal, professional, romantic, they are important, and all of those things take your energy or they give you energy. So as you're bringing in new people, ask yourself, are they going to be taking energy or giving energy, or is it going to be reciprocal? Because if it's reciprocal, that's great. But if it is an
Yeah.
unbalanced, you have to decide how many of those people you need to bring in, and sometimes how many you need to let go, so that you do have that space and that
Yeah.
energy, and you feel balanced internally. Mhm. That's a good
I
one for you,
love
Shy, too, because I
this.
know you've had
Woo.
you had to make a lot of decisions to cut out a lot of this
I
energy, negative
did.
energy, and it's been lifting you. You've just been glowing and
Oh
shining
my
and
gosh.
thriving.
Thank you.
How did you go through that process? Because it was hard. It wasn't easy, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was really hard. But as you were kind of talking about this, I was like thinking about like, wow, what an amazing journey that this has been, because it starts with that self-awareness though, right?
Yeah.
And I think for many of us, especially, when you pile on the different, affinity groups that we belong to, you find that when you really like take a seat, take a moment to think about it, you realize I don't know that there have really been very many safe spaces for me to inhabit. You think about being in corporate America, and I know that that is, definitely a path that most, that some of us seek, right? But the reality of it is corporate America is not necessarily a safe space for Black women. I'm just going to say
Say that.
it. I'm just going to say it. But I think because of my connecting with amazing humans through the employee resource networks and groups, that's what started to give me that awareness of that concept of safety and energy. And of course, going through the Multicultural Women's Executive Leadership Program and realizing, this is why I've been having friction, because, you know, it's almost like similar to, like, if you think, like, if you speak positive words to your plants and flowers, they're going to bloom and they're going to grow. And just not having that consciousness of, like, I've been conforming, bending, molding, assimilating, doing all of these things that weren't necessarily in alignment with my care and my safety and my well-being, right? So I've been so intentional about ensuring that I am not in spaces where I feel I'm being tolerated, where I am not in spaces where I feel like I have to beg to be there. And even if I'm in a space where maybe I am a little bit intimidated, or I'm around some just really, really amazing trailblazing women, I try to remind myself I'm in this, the very fact that I'm in this room means that I am meant to be here and I am supposed to be here.
That's right.
So I've been really, really being very intentional about that. And then I also found this really cool book um, called The Confidence Empath, and it's a complete guide to multidimensional empathing and energetic protection. Because as you were stating, whether you recognize it or not, all day, every day, we are sources of energy and we are exchanging energy, whether it be positive or negative, with people, places,
Yes.
objects, all
Yes.
of it, because we are all interconnected and we are all one. And that's a whole other, you know what, I'm not even going to go off on a tangent here, but just this concept alone of the energy that we are exchanging, I could go on for days on
Yeah.
that.
And it's important, right? We have to be mindful of it, and we have to find a way to restore it and pour back in so that we don't just
Yeah.
feel like we're drained, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think this
Ooh.
goes with the last one of cutting the cord and then loving
Yeah.
wholeheartedly. So just remembering
Yes.
to shut down. Sometimes we just need to shut down and
Yeah.
get off of social media, electronics. And that's not always possible for everyone all day. Even if it's just an hour or 30 minutes or a
Yeah.
couple of hours, try to do that, because it just, sometimes we're so stuck to these screens in our life, right? From phones to
Yes.
computers to iPads to just all the screens. And we need to be able to
Yeah.
unplug. And that gives us time to do something else, go for a walk, play a game, read a book, any of these things that it just gives us time to connect back with ourselves and pour back into ourselves for that kind of self-care.
Yes. So I think this is a great time for us to talk about the drainers to avoid or limit when it comes to living a balanced life and, properly integrating these different areas. And so we've broken it down. We've got drainers to avoid at work. Now, this one was a funny one because, they say, okay, so meetings, those meetings that could have been an email. We know all
That
about that. Um, Difficult people. We are not going to talk about the books that I had to purchase so that I could try to figure out navigating that. Um, Emails and voicemails that, it's like, okay, you may have had an agenda or a plan, and then this email or this voicemail comes in, and now that's thrown off your entire day. And of course, micromanagement. And the reason we're laughing is because these are all like the standard things that come with working
work.
a traditional 9 to 5 or office, or not even just an office. It's just
Just a 9 to 5. Yes, working for someone else. That's all of the things you have to face every day. You don't have a choice. Some of
it's
it's
like
good and some of it's bad, but it's always there.
it's like where they're like, I've seen those memes where they say like, you need to cut out the negativity, and it's like, but what if it's my job, or what if it's my not gonna say it, but you know what I mean.
Yes. Oh, yes. We've had those moments. You know what? That's going back to employee resource groups, the ERGs at work. That was something that was so, if you have those at the company you do work for, and they're really good, they're actually uplifting and empowering and giving employees that safe
Yeah.
space. It is really, those are really great to have to kind of,
Yeah.
decompose, or I can't say decompose,
Decompress.
but decompress from just letting go of some of that and being able to just go back, take a breath, and do something that
Yeah.
energizes you before you have to go back to the thing that's draining the energy. And just like at work, you have at home, you've got internet, you've got your family, you've got your friends, you've got all these competing electronics, and sometimes your
Yeah.
family could be the drainer. Or some of you, you know who you are, have those families that are just, every
Yeah.
time they call, you're just like, oh my gosh, what do they want? You're already dreading picking up the call, because you
Yeah.
already know it's not going to be some good news. It's going to be some mess. You're going to have to go jump in and save or fix, and
Yeah.
it drains the energy. So knowing those things, prepare for them,
Yeah.
be aware of them, because you can't always make them go away. If you need your job, you can't just get rid of the job, but you can kind of account for it and then find spaces to limit that when you can. And if you have to deal with it a lot,
Yeah.
find a way to also fill yourself back up. Right. Same thing. What about anywhere? There's a
Absolutely.
lot. Oh, and let me let you
Ooh.
add, because you got, I know at home and
No.
at work you got some of those too.
Honestly, I would say it's the anywhere.
Yes.
And one thing that I recognize for myself is, again, being multi hyphenate, being multi passionate. I would say clutter. I would say clutter and chores.
Yes.
For me, I know that I am at my optimal and at my best if I don't have clutter around me. And so that is something that I'm really, really intentional about. I wouldn't say I'm a neat freak, but I just, if there is a mess, that mess represents the mess that's in my mind.
Yeah.
And that's already its own entity and its own character. So I don't need to see a physical manifestation of that. The staying up late, I was really, really, really bad about setting boundaries for my day, my work day, because I just had all of these ideas and I was trying to figure out, like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Because I got to do something. I've got to figure it out. This is the first time that I have lived in this undefined space. And so, of course, that was amping up that motivation of, okay, but you've got to figure it out, because we definitely don't have being out on the streets, as like, that's not what I see for myself or for my life. So we got to figure it out, right? um and then let's see, the perfectionism, which, I left behind that perfectionism in January, and that has been helping me so much. And when there are times where I catch myself, like maybe trying, like, obsessing over a problem or something that I'm trying to solve, and I realize, wait a minute, you've been at this for like maybe 20 or 30, like, I don't know how to explain it, but I will realize, wait a minute, is there an easier way? It like Is there an easier way? Because we keep trying to do this same thing. So is there an easier way? Is there someone we can reach out to? Like, is this absolutely necessary, so that I can not have that very, very valuable time being spent unwisely.
Yeah.
um I mean, there's some really good ones on here, but I feel like, again, we'd be
Yeah.
here all day if we but what
No.
about for you on those anywheres?
No, I love it. I think you hit on it. The clutter is a big one for me. Clutter, clutter, clutter. And then just the staying up late and trying to make sure that I am sticking to a bedtime. I'm not trying to have that
Yeah.
24/7 life where I'm just up all night, out all night. It's just like
Yeah.
just setting those boundaries, making sure that I am going to sleep, I'm getting my rest, and
Yeah.
I'm, yeah. But the clutter, because having kiddos, there's clutter
Oh
everywhere. Oh my
yeah. I
it
see
was
the
a lot.
struggle. I see the struggle for,
But
many of the moms out there. I don't know how you do it.
it is a struggle. But I
I
mean,
really don't.
that's
But
perfectionist part. I'm just like, it's not going to be perfect all the time,
it's
because
not.
I'm gonna clean it up, and if I spend all day cleaning this up and they go and mess it up in 5 minutes, I'm gonna be furious. So I'm gonna clean it what it needs
Yeah.
and then let it go, because you have to just
Yeah.
let it go.
Ooh, like woosah, right? Woosah. But I will say also, with the staying up late, there's an additional motivating factor in the not staying up late, because unfortunately, when you stay up late, your body will tell on you. Your eyes will tell on you. They were telling stories. My skin was telling on me. I'm
Yep.
still, going through my skincare journey, but I'm finding, like, definitely the things that are going to tell on me, those are the ones that I tend to prioritize on the
Right.
trainers
You're like, oh,
to
like, I'm gonna
avoid
have
or
these
limit.
bags under my eyes. Let me not do that. Yeah. Yep. Yep. I
I
get
love
it.
it. And so, with that, I think this is a great time to just talk about, kind of bringing it all together, those best practices on living a balanced life,
Mhm.
and just really properly integrating those life areas that are important and that will fluctuate in the level of importance. So, why don't you kick us off in that?
Yeah. The supportive relationships, that is probably, and that goes into our kind of support systems episode. That's a
Yes.
big one for me, is really, really finding those networks. Savvy Wisdom Sisterhood, our Savvy
Yes.
Wisdom Sister Pod, our sister circle. I'm saying sister pod, sister
Yeah.
circle, but friends, family, those people, that support system you have that you know is going to be there and that is ride or
Yeah.
die with you. And you've got them and they've got you. That is probably the
Yes.
biggest part and the biggest best practice I can have. If you have those support system, make sure maintaining
Whew.
them. If you don't have them, do the work to find them because it is worth it. What about you, Shay?
It is absolutely worth it because we cannot do it alone. And again, I know we talked a great deal about that in the support system episode.
Yeah.
Um, I would say leveraging technology.
Yes.
Leveraging technology is a good one. Establishing designated tech free times. I am a
Mhm.
glasses wearer, and while I do have the blue light protection, I know that my day cannot encompass constantly looking at screens. So I do grant myself the grace. And now I have an actual physical book to read because I'm usually digital.
Yeah.
So that helps. And then of course, I love my apps and technology for automating things. Yes,
Mhm.
I did go analog, and I actually have life-size planners on my walls because I'm still trying to figure out how I want to build that electronically so that it is a tool and not a hindrance to my organization.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
We talked about this too. When it comes to things, Shai is really great at creating systems and using technology to leverage the systems. And
Oh
so
my gosh.
offline, me and her are going to get together because I'm be like, help me get my life together. Because I'm really
Yes.
great at all the people and processes, but not so great at creating a system and leveraging the technology, that can, for
Yeah.
something that I have to do over and over and over again. It's like, duh, why not use, if there's a technology solution,
Yeah.
why not use it? And Shai's really great at creating
Oh,
those tools. And oh, I I love that about you so much. And it's a
thank
skill
you.
I wish I
It-
had.
it's a skill, but I also feel like it's part of the I do not like to be a broken record, and I
Oh,
definitely do not like reinventing the same wheel. I'm like
that's right.
every year I'm like, how is it 2024? And I'm the first person asking about automation for this. Like, I know I can't be the first person. I know somebody else has done this before.
Right.
So we are going to get it together.
Yes.
And let's see, reflecting on your priorities. So it is essential to understand what your priorities are and to align them with your values and take some time for that self reflection. It's so easy to get wrapped up in and caught up in the feeling like doing something because that's just what you've always done,
Right.
or kind of having those beliefs of or that you have to do something. It's important to ask yourself why am I doing this? Why is this necessary? Why is it important? What is this going to accomplish? How does this align to where I see myself? And if it's not very clear to you on why you're doing some of these things that you're doing, and some of those things you may be doing can also be to overcompensate for internal things that you have going on. So I would definitely encourage checking in with yourself on that.
Yeah. And then setting those clear boundaries. That is so important to your self care, to your
Yeah.
mental health, and to your
Whew.
ability to really get things done. If you can't, if you're trying to finish a deadline and everybody keeps coming in and bugging you, asking
Yeah.
for your time, you're never going to get to finish it. So you have to be able to set those clear boundaries and don't be
Yeah.
upset about that. Stick to it, the boundary and stick to it. And if people are upset and can't deal with it, then maybe they're not on team you and you might have to find some new
Yeah.
folks because when you are really trying to be about your business, If they are
Yeah.
supportive, they will be supporting that and be happy for you and know that, hey,
Yeah.
you're busy right now, so we can't go hang out or we can't go to lunch. But as soon as we aren't, you're not busy.
Yes.
I got you, you know? So, yeah,
Yes. Or come hang out with me while I'm running some errands. Like those
there
are
you
the
go.
most like that is the most fun.
That is.
I wish we were in the same city cuz I
Me
know we would
too.
we
I
would be
would.
all
I'd
through
be
those
looking at
aisles.
jewelry. Right. When you're vending doing your jewelry, I would be like, I'd be sitting right there helping you, talking to people and just,
Oh my
you know,
gosh.
just tooting your horn about the beautiful jewelry, like the necklace you're wearing. I'd be like, look
Oh,
at this,
thank
you
you.
made it. So yes, I love going along and tagging along. It's the best, you know. So yeah.
I love this. And I feel like this is just like the perfect time for us to be having this conversation because we are both embarking on just some amazing, exciting things. So, why
Yeah.
don't you tell our watchers, what you have kind of coming up?
Yeah. Well, one thing that I'm really excited about, it starts in April and it is going to be like April 24th is when it starts. It's an entrepreneur ship kind of academy where I'm going to be learning about contracts and capital and all of these things that just help entrepreneurs rise. Not only that, I'm going to be getting to connect with people that give capital, master
Yes.
coaches, and lots of resources. So I'm very excited. And myself and Chai are also maybe thinking about, there was a documentary.
Not maybe.
Oh, we
Not
are.
maybe.
We have our meeting coming up that we want to investigate starting a fund that can actually help.
Yeah.
So we can actually provide capital to more diverse founders because less than 1% are of I'll just say women founders, but diverse founders, it's even less, are getting
Yes.
capital, and it's hard for them because as soon as they walk in there
Yeah.
to present their case, most of the time the companies and the people granting that capital are white men, and they're already looking at
Yeah.
them as a no. In their mind, it's an
Yeah.
automatic no already because they're a woman or they're a person of color. And so if they the documentary Show Her the Money that we watched at our event
Yeah.
really talked about, if we want to see more diverse founders, we need more diverse funders.
That
And
is
that
absolutely
stuck with
correct.
Shy and myself. And so in that room, we found several people that help with the education, with the classes, and even
Yes.
helping you get capital. So we're look out for
Yay!
us, and we can't wait to start. So it's a long journey, but we're excited. Hi, what
Yes.
about you? Because you have some great news as well.
Oh, oh my goodness. So I have been officially accepted into USC's Master of Applied Organizational Psychology and Consumer Psychology program. I think it's going to be for about 16 months. And I'm just so excited about adding this education to my life experiences and the perspectives that I've had the privilege of having to really supplement these new ventures that we're going to be pursuing together. And I also have about, I want to say like 11 different jewelry events that are going to be coming up because I'm about to start offering permanent jewelry with, of course, my own spin on it of making sure that I'm really empowering the beautiful souls who wear my pieces. And I'm trying to think there's anything else that's coming up. I know there's some other things, but I would say those are probably the most exciting to me and the most new. I would say going back to school. Let's
Yeah,
see, I graduated almost 20 years ago. So this is like going through that application process and, you know,
homework, all of
applying
it.
for grants and scholarships and just all of these things. It's very daunting,
Yeah.
but I'm just so excited. I'm so excited to be here. And
Yes.
yeah.
And the network that you're going to have and the support
Ooh.
there with USC and all of that. is really amazing. And so we are so excited for that. I'm excited for that journey for you. And as always, I'm here if you need me for anything.
Yes.
School is, I don't want to go
Yes.
back to school, but I understand school.
And I kept saying, I did not,
I know all those
this
things.
was something that just came. I'm like, okay, I didn't necessarily see this happening, but it is time, and I'm leaning into it. And I think that is a great segue into, I know our next episode is going to be on getting comfortable with discomfort. So just really looking forward to investigating that. But this has been a great conversation today. Like, spring is springing, even though it's overcast today. But we have so many exciting things happening that are going to allow us to really find and maintain that balance and that integration that we've been looking for. So thank you for listening and watching. And yes.
And thanks for being on this journey with us. We look forward to hearing the things that are rising and blooming in your life as well. Please share them again on that like, share, subscribe. Let us know how you're feeling, what's going well, and also topics that you might want to hear about. So we look forward to just seeing your journey as well, and looking forward to our next episode.
Yes. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Here's how to connect with me for any of your business or educational consulting needs.
Here's how to connect with me for any of your business and individual needs.
We hope you connect with us on Facebook and Instagram.
Next time on Savvy Wisdom, getting comfortable with discomfort. It can be uncomfortable trying something new. We want to avoid change so we don't push ourselves to the next level. In today's disruptive and accelerating world, it helps to change your relationship to change and become comfortable with being uncomfortable. Join us as we discuss how stress and discomfort enables us to gain speed, strength, and endurance.